Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Well,
Let me just
good
get my
evening.
camera on. What an amazing session. Thank you so much.
So you were seeing the session, sir?
Of course, it was so the essence of life, the essence of entrepreneurship. I think Pralaji is truly a legend, and there's so much that we learned. Thank you for inviting us. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming along. Thank you so much. So it was like I had a talk with when the starting of Gift of Hope. So there was some very insightful insights. He told me कि you invite the person who have a very beautiful story, not the person who are rich. And that's how it started at the concept of gift of hope, of gifting a hope to the people across the world.
Amazing.
Yes. So I think I have the best marketing panel in India right now. So that's how it started. So Gift of Hope, explaining about Gift of Hope was certainly a idea when a friend of mine told me कि gifting industry तो अभी hold पे है. So what you will gift now? I am the person who give innovative gifts. So he told me that what you will gift, and I told that now I will gift of hope, and that's how it started. I got many legends on the webinar. There were people attending across the globe, and thank you so much for coming. I think your experience and your insights about the digital marketing would inspire lots and lots of people watching this webinar. So as decided, we would start by the journey about how you started and how you make it big. So we would start with Siddharth sir, and then Avi sir, and then Gaurav Gurbaxani sir, about wanting to know the journey about how you get at the top of the digital marketing.
Sure. Thank you for, first of all, thank you so much for inviting. And, Avi is like a brother from a different mother. I always say that. And Gaurav is also someone I'm very closely connected with. And each of our journeys are so inspiring for each other. So since you asked me to go first, let me go. Yeah. So I never thought I would be in the digital marketing space. I come from a typical South Indian, Tam Bram Iyer, Tair Sadam family, brought up in Bangalore. And then now I live in Chennai, and I dropped out of college when I was 18 years old. So even till today, I don't have any degree next to my name. And when Pralaji was talking about, you need to do something what you're really passionate about, that struck a chord, because I never followed the original or the society system of going to school, getting the grades, getting a decent job, and going on with life. My life was completely a different turn, because I got into the music industry after I failed my 12th. I got into the music industry. I used to teach sound engineering. I used to teach people how to make music for various platforms. Like my very close friend, his name is Henry. He's in Chennai. He works with A.R. Rahman. I have many of my other friends who are working in Hollywood. They're working in Ramoji Film City. They're working in Bollywood, all over. So, and for me, that was the most exciting phase of my life after failing my 12th. Those 3 years of the creativity and being in the zone really helped me grow a lot in that industry. And since I was good at what I was doing, even though I failed my 12th, I scored 92% in my sound engineering. This is back in 2001.
Wow.
And I've been teaching since the age of 19. I'm 37 now. Since I was 19 years old, I used to teach people. In fact, I was just like a kid teaching 35, 40-year-olds how to make music, how to use mixers, how to use software to make music. And that's how my journey began. And after 3 years into that, company in Dubai called me, and I was the guy making ringtones. If you remember the polyphonic ringtone days, 2005, 2006, I was sitting in Internet City, Dubai, and making ringtones and supplying it to Tata Teleservices, Reliance, and all those polyphonic tunes. Then we built a team of ringtone makers, around 10 of us, and I used to coordinate all of that work. And that was an interesting phase. And then I came back to Bangalore, did a lot of work for Tata Teleservices, managing their app store. That's when I started to understand consumer behavior, like what kind of things will people really download, how to make the app even before App Store, even iPhone launched, before that itself. So that at that time in India, it was mostly CDMA. CDMA was the big thing. They had the Tata Zone, and I used to do testing on all the different mobile phones. And at that time, the Moto Razr was the hottest phone then. And I used to test from the cheapest Nokia monophonic ringtone to I used to test it on the high-end polyphonic tunes. And that was a very interesting phase on the entire management of that. And then everything was going well. 2011, the vast industry was going down, and I lost my job. That entire vertical was going down, and my boss told me, said, you got to leave. There's no vertical here. Even though we are a 50-member company, I'm so sorry, I have to let you go. And that was a defining moment of my life. I had to decide whether I should go back to a job. And if I have to go back to a job, I don't have any degree next to my name, only have a diploma in sound engineering. And then I had to decide between that or go for entrepreneurship. And then, thanks to family's support, my wife also supported me. I had to pawn my wife's gold jewelry for around 10 lakh rupees. I had 6 months of buffer. That's it. I invested that money into learning, and I decided to get into digital marketing. So 2011, my start into digital marketing was where I was in negative. I did not have any resources, but thanks to family support, I got in. Then started 2011, end 2012. I set up my own small agency along with my business partner Meena, and then we were just 3-member company, and then we grew that company over the span of 6 years to like 35, 40 employees. And recently, we just sold the company to BNI. They bought a company, and so my journey has never been like planned as such. There's always the only driving force was what I really love to do. Like I really loved music. I got into that industry and I did well at that. And I really loved the idea of this whole adapting new formats of music. When I got into the ringtone industry, excelled in that. And then I really loved digital marketing because a few years before I lost my job, my wife and I, we launched an album online. My wife is a singer. She was Indian Idol finalist 2006. Wow. And we sat at home. We made a 12-song album. We launched it. More than 500 plus people who bought our album at $10 in 2009. I did not make a single CD copy then. I just put it up on TuneCore and some of these platforms. And I was wondering, like, how the hell are people actually, downloading just like that on iTunes? And that's what got me interested in internet marketing. So then passion moved towards internet marketing, agency, and then there's no better person on agency than Avi. Avi's going to share his story. So he's got an amazing story on how his agency is able to scale it up. And then in 2018, I got into this space of digital coaching and helping people become, digital coaches, mentors, teachers. And so it's been quite an interesting journey where I have to thank my mentors. I have to thank my coaches who have actually helped me. And I always quote my grandpa. My grandpa, when I was 8 years old, he said, never let schooling interfere with your education. The Indian system is right. Everyone says education is the most important thing. My granddad was opposite. He said, never let schooling interfere with education. Whether you're inside school, outside school, keep learning. And that message has brought me to where I am today. There's a long way to go. But the point here is, any of you watching here, it does not matter where you come from. It does not matter what your past is. It only matters where you want to go. And especially in today's day and age, if you put your mind to something, you can change your life in the next 90 days, next 6 months, if you go with that focus. So yeah, that's a bit of my background. Yeah. And looking forward to hear the others. Yeah.
So much. Thank you so much. Avi sir, we would love to know your story, sir.
Yeah, boss, how do you pronounce your full name?
It's Chaitanya.
Chaitanya what?
Chaitanya Tanna.
Chaitanya Tanna. Okay, great. Just wanted to write that down. Great. So thank you for having us. So I always love to share my story because I feel everybody has a story, and I like to inspire people to say, share your story. And you're obviously always the hero of your own story. So my story was not most stories happen accidentally. And then like Steve Jobs said, you look back and you connect the dots and then you tell people your story. So if anybody watching this does not figure out what their story is today or has a difficulty in saying that I am the hero or heroine of my own story, keep looking back and you'll realize the impact that you made, and keep marching, and one day the dots will connect and you'll find out how you became the hero, the central hero of your story. So around, I only had one passion, which was racing cars. I think JK Tires and all those companies used to sponsor gypsies and tires and all of that. So my passion was always around that. I used to hang out with people who used to, supply roll cages to gypsies or supply the rally tires to gypsies. So I thought that there should be an art to this. So I wanted to study and maybe become a streetcar racer, go abroad. These were my two things, that, hang out with people who were racing cars and go abroad and study and meet more people. But one day my dad called me to his office and he told me that we've had a huge financial crisis and we've had to sell the house, and we have to sell the car that he had, and move to a rented house, and maybe not be able to be in the same school. Luckily I went to the same school. But so everything changed overnight, like one night everything changed. And then very next morning he told me, he said, you have to, very next morning I have to start working with him in his small guest house. He had a 27-room guest house, which so the next morning I started working over there, and there were used to be only Indian guests from different parts of India. One day a foreign guest walked in. If my memory serves me correctly, we assume he was from Holland because he paid us in Dutch currency that time. And I converted that money. It turned out to be multiple Indian rupees, and that's when the one trigger happened. So life goes back to some trigger points, and you can take action on those trigger points, or you don't take action. You don't really know which trigger points will take you where. But this one trigger point of this person paying me double the amount of money than an Indian customer was paying led me to think that if I get all 27 rooms into foreign paying guests, then I'll be able to double the revenue, and instantly I'll find an answer to all my problems. So even now I think like that. What are the central one or two things I can do so I can, completely change my life? But eventually, when you start working on those trigger points, you see there are so many sub things, small things that you have to do. So it's always a journey. It's never fast. So that journey started with that one central idea, and I started asking people what to do. I went to a few embassies. I went to the British School Library. I went to every place where people could guide me on where I could connect with people from all over the world. And what I realized was that there's this new phenomena on the market called the internet, and that allows people to get connected with people around the world. The only problem was that time in New Delhi, 98, 99, there were only two places, the British School Library and I think the Moria Sheraton Hotel. Both of them had a 450 rupees internet access for half an hour, which was extremely expensive. Uh, so didn't know what to do. Eventually, I saw an ad in the paper, Satyam Computers looking for cyber cafe partners. Got a small cyber cafe in the hotel in my dad's guest house. Started working on that cyber cafe, got some help from people, built a website, did some SEO, did some query form, all of that. I had no idea what I was doing, where it's going to lead to, but I knew that I tasted the internet, and if I'm able to start chatting with people, and I can chat 24 hours, then I'll be able to be connected with people all over the world. For chatting, I needed the internet. When I went to the internet, people said you need a website. When I went to the website, people said you don't have a query form. When I built a query form, they said you don't have a toll-free number. So whatever feedback I got, without knowing exactly what a plan is going to be, I kept on implementing that. It took about 2 years from that point, and we had this website called hotelajanta.com, which eventually became one of India's first ever hotel websites to get that kind of e-commerce traffic during those times. Because nobody was doing it, I very soon realized that it's like the first 5 overs of cricket. There are no fielders, and I could hit runs wherever I wanted. And my dad kept on telling me this particular success is not going to last. People are going to catch on to the wave that's happening. Google was not in India. Expedia was the only company in India, and the head of Expedia in India, who came in as the country manager, he was one of the first people who encouraged me to say, do more of this, because you're the only one who's doing it. So that's how the journey started. I accidentally got onto the internet because the internet allowed me to connect with people around the world. Once I got connected to the internet, and once my first 3 4 websites started doing well, as a young man, it gave me what everybody needs. It gave me recognition, it gave me money, it gave me self-confidence, it gave me respect. The internet made me feel complete, because I was able to use it and do something for myself and my family. And after that, I didn't think of any business that does not have the internet. Then I started a travel company, and I had about 120 plus domain names. All of them flopped, but two, three of them took off really well. And so I had a Cheap Air Tickets India. That was my second business on the internet. By 2009, I think I was ready to say that I want to do something from scratch, which was mine, and it did not have my dad in it. My dad is a huge influence in my life. He's always supported me, but sometimes I think everybody wants to do something on their own and challenge themselves. So in 2009, I started my own company, and I thought everybody will help me. They'll fund me. From my parents to my family to everybody who'd seen how I'd successfully done websites, everybody had their own businesses where their money was stuck. So the one learning I had in life was that nobody's going to help you. You have to make your own plan, even if people want to help you. So I started a 4-member company and I went into the market and I felt alone once again. Another learning that I got at this point in time was, doesn't matter what past success you've gotten in any field. When you start afresh, the scorecard is zero and there's zero on the scoreboard and you have to start afresh. The world is at best giving you some respect to say, I know you, but and thank you for serving in the past. But nobody is going to give you credit in a new business. There's no carry forward from your past. You can't carry forward your past laurels and convert them into dollars in your next business. So you start afresh. Starting afresh is always a great this thing. It teaches you a lot of stuff, keeps you on your toes. And then we started afresh in 10 years. We built from 4, we went to 225. This was the story till 4 months ago. 4 months ago, with all this agency and all of this world, the business has gone down like this. Hotel business, hotels are closed. They opened only yesterday. Yesterday, we had 5 rooms in both our hotels. 5 rooms, 5% occupancy after 5 months, which felt very good. So hotels were down, and the agency business, is down, is struggling. We're getting back up, but it's hard. But thanks to my friends like Siddharth and Gaurav, all of these people, have guided me. I speak to Sid every day, especially during COVID times. He helped me with his internet freedom lifestyle model, and I implemented that. I started doing webinars, and I've started a completely new vertical in the last 1 year. But in the last 3 months, I've given it impetus. I've worked more in the last 4 months than maybe in the last 1.5 years on this new vertical where we are teaching and coaching people how they can tell their own stories using micro videos, which is a concept which I say has 3 verticals. Only 3 things you need to do based on all the businesses that I started from 18 to 44 now. The 3 things I've learned is you need to be known, you need to always have leads, and you need to get sales. If you have these 3 things, everything works. And today I'm able to do it completely on the internet and spend time with my family. So that whole, life circle is sort of coming around. And that's my story. And it's all thanks to Sid and Gaurav and everybody here.
So inspiring, so inspiring. It was so inspiring, sir. Now we have Gaurav Gurbaxani, sir. I think I have a privilege to meet Gaurav, sir, in Ahmedabad. So he was speaking in one of the seminars in Ahmedabad University, and we have gone to Lucky Tea Stall. I don't know if you guys remember about Lucky Tea Stall or not. Avi, sir, you remember? You know about what's Lucky Tea Stall?
Lucky what? Sorry?
Lucky Tea Stall.
Lucky Tea Stall.
Yeah.
नाम तो familiar लग रहा है. What's it about? वो movie में था क्या?
सिद्धार्थ सर, आपको पता है लक्की टी स्टॉल?
No, I'm not sure
नहीं.
about this.
Was it in that movie जब we met?
No.
अच्छा.
Lucky tea stall is made on a graveyard, and people of Gujarat believe that if you start something at that stall, Lucky tea stall, anything would go good. मतलब you see Audi, Mercedes, BMW, Jaguar coming there, sitting there, drinking a chai, else. Millions of dollars of business starting with Lucky tea stall and going to somewhere else.
Wow.
And we have gone there. So Gaurav sir, now then I have not asked your journey, but I seriously want to know your journey. How it has been.
Awesome. First of all, Chaitanya, thanks a lot for having us over here. Excited to connect once again. And I did watch a good amount of the webinars that you're doing today, and very inspiring. I know you are a true entrepreneur at heart, and I know you're going to do great things. So thanks for having me over here. Just a little bit about my background is the first money that I ever earned was when I was 14 years old. I remember I received a check that had come from the US, and it was an affiliate commission. And when I was 14, I got this check in my hand, and I would say that was the day I became a believer, saying that on the internet, there's money to be made. And you know how no one talks about regrets and how everything is a positive experience in life, which I totally agree. If I was to re-engineer my life, I would have skipped college completely. Though I did go to 5, 6 years of 3 years of college. I did my hotel management, And when you are in college, I don't think you have the time to sit and think and to work. You're doing things, you're meeting people, you're hanging out with friends. It's not like a conducive business environment. So time passed by that way, though I was still always fascinated with the internet, reading, going to Google how to make money, just like I'm sure hundreds of thousands of people still do every day. How do I make money on the internet? And what happened next was I completed my hotel management and I got a job in Bombay, and it was in the Hyatt Hotel, the Hyatt Regency. So I worked there for about 2 months, and I realized that 100,000% this is not what I want to do. There's no chance that I want to wake up, take a train, take a bus, take an auto, go clean shaved, wear a tie, wear a suit, smile all the time. It was doable. I did that, uh, but I knew that long term I didn't want to continue that. And I asked myself a very simple question, and that question was like, supposing in 10 years from now you become the general manager, will it be worth the effort? And my first answer was like, dude, if I don't become the general manager in the next 1 year, I'm going to be like super bored. So in 10 years of doing something that I don't like to reach what I don't want to reach, I don't want to do it. So I think at that point I did take a bold move. My dad had just paid for my education. We were going through stuff at home and stuff like that. So to tell him straight off the bat, like, hey, you've invested in this hotel management education. I've got this job and I'm quitting. It was like, dude, come on, what's wrong with you? You should continue what. And there's this apparent rule that you have to give everything 2 years. And I just think that's like the most ridiculous rule. And it's said so much to people. 2 years you have to give it and then things will be okay. Okay, you can struggle, but why not do something that you love from day one? And there's a huge, huge difference in that. So I quit my job in Bombay, and I knew straight off the bat I had to start paying for my rent, I had to start paying for my bills because no one was going to sponsor me. So I applied like for I think 50 jobs, maybe 50 jobs or 60 jobs in one day. I sat on Naukri and I made a resume, just like blasted out to every single person. And that was the last time I ever applied for a job because I got a job the next day. And it was to this amazing, like super duper amazing company called Direct Eye. They were based in Bombay and they were very cool tech company. Today it's $1 billion agency, $1 billion business. And as like maybe the 15th or 20th employee over there. So that's where I truly saw growth. Like I saw like you can have fun. It was just young guys. It was people who would work like super duper hard. It was people who would get paid like really well. It was full of people who were going abroad to the US, going for conferences. There was serious training. And we were like having a great, great time. It was amazing. It was like, I'm super fortunate and grateful to my bosses who actually took me under their wing and trained us and all that stuff. Though I think at some stage, an entrepreneur is going to become an entrepreneur and saying like, I have to do this on my own. There's something that I need to do. There's going to be that bug that's going to tell you, is going to keep you up at night. There's going to be that itch saying like, how do I do my own business? So then got started. Like I got a lot of help from my dad. He introduced me to his contacts, and once you get into the space, you get like even one website design project, you sell them SEO, then you sell them PPC, and then you sell them analytics, and then you sell them email, and then you sell them social media, and then there's something new. So just with that one client that we picked up, which I got with my dad's contact, he trusted us. He's like, cool, you're a young kid, but I know your dad. It's all good. Go for it, which was pretty easy to do. And from that day itself, I called myself an entrepreneur. I started looking at hiring people. I started looking at getting more business. I said, this is pretty easy, man. I just need to go and talk to people, show them some stuff, and they're going to give me a website project. They're going to give me this. They're going to give me that. And I spent a good decade doing digital marketing, like the actual execution of digital marketing, where we got featured on these platforms like Upwork, marketplaces like Fiverr, and we built a really awesome reputation as a service provider. It was fun. It was really enriching. You do work, you get, like Avi saying, you get paid in dollars, you get paid in whatever the currency. And we are doing pretty well for ourselves in Pune. We're doing pretty well for ourselves in Pune, doing a couple of crores a year, 22, 23, 24 years old. It was like a ball. Um, Over the past like 3 to 4 years, I would say, like, I've moved more towards training and working with freelancers, working with other people who want to be able to work from home. And it's always been a privilege. I'm super grateful that I can work from home. And post corona, pre corona, whatever it is, there's really not been that much change. And I feel comfortable, I feel confident that give me a computer, give me the internet, and I can provide for my family. So that's kind of been my journey. And the last exactly 1 year has been one of my most successful business years, where I got to network with digital masters, got to learn from them, really, really opened up perspective. Before that, uh, I kid you not, it was a lonely journey. And it was not that I didn't have people to talk to. I have a lot of friends, I have family, but there was no one who will actually get it. No one who actually like gets what the heck you're talking about. And then suddenly you're put into a group where people know better than you. It's really enriching, and you learn and you grow, and more perspectives. You read books, you network, you have fun, and yeah, that's kind of been my journey so far.
That's so great. That's so great. So second section which we were thinking about was, if someone wants to pursue a digital marketing career in their life, so what are the steps? What are the tips and tricks which they should follow? So starting with you, Siddharth sir.
Yeah. So digital marketing is like the buzzword, right? And everyone is, I mean, everyone wants to get into it, and it is the hottest industry. It's a growing industry. Everyone is there. But when it comes to career in digital marketing, I think one has to look at it more from a perspective of where do they want to serve. So it is not about just the job, because now Gaurav is doing something. He's going to share his views on this, and he's actually contributing to the much larger growth of what we call as the gig economy, which he will share. But what I would say is, anyone here, if you're watching this and if you're looking at how do you get started in digital, is first look at what all is possible, what all can be done. So I would say, like, you scan wide, you scan wide. So in digital marketing, there are so many things. There's email marketing, there's website design, there is landing pages optimization, uh, there's traffic, there's analysis, there's advertising, there is a community building, there's product creation, there's drop shipping. There are so many different I would say verticals within digital itself. So the first step is to scan through all of them and see what interests you, and get knowledge on all the aspects. Like three of us here, we have a knowledge about whatever is possible in digital, and then we have narrowed down our area. So the first step is to understand all the verticals of digital, like going wide if you're starting off. Then the second step is, then you narrow it down. Suppose now I'm in my case, I'm really interested in the whole aspect of building new leaders, like building digital leaders for tomorrow, because I feel that leaders, mentors, coaches are the ones who can really change the society. Even though the current education norms have been after 35 years, has actually the new education policies have come in, but ultimately it comes down to us. It comes down to the teachers. It comes down to the people who are going to implement this knowledge. So I decided, okay, even though I have knowledge in digital marketing, I wanted to put myself in that space where I can create digital leaders, digital mentors, digital coaches. And then the third step is to go deep. So first you go wide and narrow and deep. When you go deep, it's like going in depth into that topic, and understanding all that is possible, looking at other influencers in that same micro niche as as what we call it, and then find out what all is possible. So the way to approach a career in digital marketing is to go wide, narrow, deep, and then you decide, do you have the entrepreneurial drive? You want to start a digital agency, or you want to operate as a freelancer, or you want to work with another organization as an entrepreneur? Like, ultimately, even if you're working in a company, the bosses, like all of us, like Avi, myself, Gaurav, we run agencies as well. So we even when we're hiring people, we are looking at people who can be independent at execution, or able to get it, who have the skills, who have the right attitude to execute on their own, without having to be, babysit every time. So that, that attitude of being self-dependent, self-reliant, and technically skilled. So we're talking about competency and commitment both coming together is what and any employer looks for, if somebody wants to hire in the digital space. So then you have to decide. There are two options: whether you go into the space of working for somebody with these qualities, or you start something independent. Maybe start your own agency or do freelance work, or even independently start your own on your business. So these are my views. This is how I look at it. So I would love to hear the other views of the other masters. Yeah.
Avi sir, we will start. We will. You have the second.
Yeah, so I always like to, of people at all ages, I always say, make that decision with your partner. You could be your best friend or your spouse or whatever. Because, as human beings, sometimes unknowingly we have a tendency to not be honest with our own selves. And where I feel people should be honest is to say, ask yourself, are you a self-starter, or do you need people to, to inspire you all the time? If you're a self-starter, go ahead, explore the internet, go for many webinars. Siddharth does amazing webinars couple of times a week. Go and explore, see what kind of opportunities are available, and then see which path you want to choose. There are coaches, there are mentors out there. Like there were gurukuls in the last time, there are online gurukuls now, and choose any one coach and start your journey with them and start building your own self up. If you're not a self-starter and you feel I can constantly need to be, then for people, I always say that put yourself in an agency setup, start working. You'll understand video making, you'll understand SEO, you'll understand how to write blogs, you'll understand website design, you'll understand how to communicate with the boss, you'll understand how the boss is communicating with clients overseas, how he's getting big deals. And after that experience, you'll realize, what, maybe video was not for me, or maybe blogging was not for me. Or when I worked for 1 year in that agency setup, these two things I really loved. And from there, you can either choose to become the best at what you do within that agency setup, because it's a security of a job and all of that, if that exists in some setups. Or you take that expertise and bring it back and start your own network. But the difference I want to say here is, whatever path you choose, you will always have a boss on. A boss is somebody who is keeping you accountable for a specific target. So if you are an entrepreneur and start your own company and doing whatever you're doing, and you have 20 clients, those 20 clients are breathing down your neck, and they're also like bosses. Yes, you can not go to the office at 9 o'clock. You'll have that kind of freedom, but you will always be accountable for good work. So that one thin line, a lot of people leave jobs and start entrepreneurial ventures saying that I will be my own boss. That is fine. It's a great feeling to be, free and all of that. But are you running away from adding value? Because if that's what you're running away from, here your clients will demand more of it from you. So, and there'll be no ecosystem, because you'll find yourself lonely at the top because you'll be the entrepreneur. So keep that in mind. And all of these things come from self-awareness. And self-awareness is something that all of us are trying to understand. I always say this thing, Swayam ko pehchano, try to understand who you are and don't lie to yourself. And if it's difficult for you to understand yourself, then always have a friend or a colleague or a spouse or a partner who will show you, call a spade and show you the mirror. And that, especially during these times, it's I don't think it's a lot of people cannot afford to take a wrong decision based on just your own judgment and your own ego. And so therefore it's imperative to have a partner who you discuss everything with, somebody who knows your strengths and weaknesses. And then, like I said, go for webinars, find the right coach and get into somebody's ecosystem and start your own business from there. Or get into an agency setup, work with everybody and see what in digital marketing lights you up, and then start your journey from there. So these are two routes, but the underlying factor is you need to understand who you are and where you're coming from.
That was so good, sir. That was so good. So it was so correctly said that you need to have a partner who understands you. It's not into the what I feel is not into the professional life, but it gives a mental support as well. So which was a very insightful. Gaurav sir, how about you?
So I would say that today, especially like right now, I think 2020, there's definitely been massive transformations. The world is actually changing day by day. Things are going more and more remote. And the chance of them reverting back to the way they were are very slim, if not close to none. Because even big organizations have realized that, see, work can happen. At the end of the day, big organizations, they are the guys who are looking at saving every penny. They want to have lower costs. They want to do all these things. They started terminating positions. They started paying up people. And this is right at the top. I'm talking about like the big, big, big Fortune 500 companies and so on and so forth. So that's been disrupted. And the only advice I can give you is what I did was got started. I said I'm going to start, and I started, and I got a client. I think that is kind of the rocket fuel you need to get taken out of stratosphere. And you could be stuck in that for a very long time. And it's just the minute you decide saying that this is what I need to do, this is my commitment, this is how much I have to earn. And the older you go, I think the more responsibility you have. So the younger you start, the better it is. So
Wow.
start young, start super young, just go all out. Like I think everyone here, Avi will agree, Sid will agree, that there is more requirement for digital marketing than there is supply, which means that there are more businesses than agencies, there are more businesses than freelancers combined. So the demand is there for sure. The demand is there for sure. It's not restricted to your city. I started my business in Pune for the first 2 years. All our business was in Pune. Why? Because we were in Pune, and that's how we thought business was done. Uh, Went on to international marketplaces, changed the entire game. It changed the entire game. We started getting paid in advance. We started doing time tracking, things that we were not doing before. But the only reason we got there, the only reason we got good at what we had to do is I got started. And that's something I'll give myself credit for. And that's something that I will tell everybody who's listening to as well. Trust yourself. If there is that entrepreneur bug telling you to do it, and you'll figure it out. Find this might be like might be too much advice for people who are just starting out, but like Avi saying, join our webinars. Webinars are like amazing. It's the new school. It's a new education system. You're getting to learn from people who are doing exactly what you want to be doing. So there's no theory as such. It's just execution. So join our webinars. Depending on what you want to do, take action and stick with it.
That's so great. That's wonderful. That's so inspiring. So the third round which we decided was, so if someone wants to, what are the important skills? So we will just focus for the what are the important skills if we want to start a digital marketing. So there would be certain skill sets which are needed, so that the people about everyone can see. So what are the important skill sets which everyone should know?
Yeah, sure. I'll go through this in two parts. So there's soft skills and there's the hard skills or the technical skills. So when it comes to the hard skills, we are looking at the basics of the content creation skills, video skills, running ads, traffic generation is a skill, lead generation is a skill, list building is a skill. Then we're looking at conversion is a skill, optimization of pages, that is also a skill. Then copywriting is a skill. And then we have tribe building, which is also a skill. So there are so many different segments to this whole aspect. And there are so many things like SEO is a skill. So all of these are technical skills. I mean, it's like anyone can take a course and they can understand how the technology works. So that is the soft, that's the hard skill side of the game. And anyone can learn that very fast. But what is more important is the soft side. The soft is how do you think? It is not about how to use the tool. So for example, Photoshop is a tool. But the way every designer uses Photoshop will be different. It is the aesthetics. So one designer may use the same Photoshop to create brilliant designs. And there could be another designer who's using the same Photoshop, but it'll be mediocre design. So we cannot blame the tool for that, or we cannot blame the system. So even in digital marketing, even though everyone knows how to run Facebook ads, Google ads, landing page setup, all that stuff is already there. But what really matters is infusing your personality into it, and that's where the soft comes in. So when it's soft skills, when I talk about it, is like the aesthetics. It is like the messaging, like where is it coming from? And for the soft skills, it actually takes time. Not everybody would get it overnight. It's easy to copy. In fact, my mentor, he says, you can copy my website, you can copy my landing pages, you can copy my ads, you can copy everything, but your conversions will not be like mine. Why? Because you cannot copy my heart. You cannot copy the emotions. Yeah.
Wow.
So each one has their own flavor when they are marketing, and that soft skills out of the game actually contributes to, I would say, 80% of your success. And most of the digital marketing trainings and courses, I'm seeing a lot of stuff even in the formal digital marketing education segment. Everyone is focused only on the technology side, the technical side. Nobody is enhancing this side of the game, the creative side, and to make them understand human psychology. See, ultimately digital marketing and all this social media is just a form of media, but actually the best marketers on the world are those who can understand human beings, those people who can understand human psychology. Yeah. So that is, I would say, missing link. And if some of you are watching this, put this on your priority. So digital marketing is there. It's digital marketing, but you need to work on yourself to understand how you can understand human beings and how you can effectively communicate in whatever media possible for you to be successful. And this is an ongoing process. Like three of us, we are every day we are learning something new. We can never say that we have arrived. There's always the next level to keep going. So these are my views. And building a digital marketing skill, it is something that has to be done on a daily basis, and you can never learn this in school and college. You have to learn by doing it. It is like, I give the example of martial arts. You can read hundreds of books on martial arts, but when somebody is standing in front of you, you need to go and you need to make that move. And the best way to practice best way to be good at martial arts is by doing it. Cannot happen by reading books. So the same thing happens in digital marketing. Yes.
It connects with the last session of Prahlad sir by saying that if you are very focused on your dreams, you will teach others how you run your own business, because you are just focused. So
absolutely,
that's so great. Avi sir, what are your insights on it?
So yeah, I like what Siddharth said, because uh, understanding other people, again, like I said, I've been in my head for the last 1 year. It's been understanding myself, that Gita line, so I am ko pehchano. And I like to put it everywhere, because the more I'm understanding myself, the clearer what I have to do for others is getting for me. So without going on that track of saying spend 20 minutes with yourself and meditate and all of that, I'll give you a more precise, clear answer. To be able to these. So recently I met this gentleman at one event who in here in America, he runs the Facebook ads for Donald Trump, and he said that he spent $1 billion in that for Donald Trump. And when I asked him how should somebody look at understanding the skills and understanding, he says all you need to do is understand the dinner table conversation that your client is having with his or her spouse. I don't have a job. What should I do tomorrow? Everybody else, what should I do about my next month EMI? He said, write down just every day, think in your head and write down what is he discussing at the dinner table with his spouse in terms of problems in his life. And you find out how you can give a messaging to solve that problem. And everything else is ancillary. So that is one message that sort of resonates with me, that to be able to understand the other person's problem is a big skill set. You can walk into any client meeting at any age. You said you're 21, you can walk into any client meeting. If you understand where his pain point is, you can go and sell him a project and then outsource it. Gaurav will tell you more about how to do that. You can outsource it to other digital marketers who will do a great job of it, but you will get the credit, you will get the money, because you've understood what the client wants. So skills, like Siddharth said, 80%, I totally agree. 80% is understanding human behavior and where their pain points are coming from. Understand that, give them a solution, and then how to run ads and how to do your PPC and how you do your copy. There are enough and more experts that Gaurav has, and he'll tell you how, that can help you to do the execution work, and you can continue on this cycle and make more money rather than getting into just the skills. That's my take on it.
It's so great. So great. Yes, Gaurav, sir.
It's always so good to hear from Avi and from Sid. They're just like always knowledge bombs coming up. And what I would say is that what I'm afraid of, what I'm rather afraid of happening is where digital marketing becomes the new engineering, where you pick up a book and you're like, SEO is on page, off page, robots.txt, this thing, that thing, and you've like rut out the entire thing. And when someone goes for a job, you go and you vomit that stuff out. That's what I'm very afraid of happening, because it's kind of like engineering, meaning if you follow the laws of engineering, you're going to get the same result. There are formulas and there are laws. Same thing with digital marketing. If you follow the steps of a Facebook ad campaign, you'll get certain results. If you do it very well, you get like Sid saying, like there's that going to be that 4% success and stuff like that. Soft skills is like super duper important. It's super duper important if you want to be visible on the global playing field. And right now, obviously, location is no bar, right? All of us are in different cities. We could very well be in different. We are in different countries. Avi's in a different country, and it doesn't make a difference, right? You will earn way more money working with a global market than a local market. That's a known fact. It's not a secret. Is it going to be possible to read a book and talk to a client internationally and sell them? Probably not. So the soft skills, unless you're able to understand them, unless you're able to communicate with them, then the digital marketing all is secondary. It's secondary. It's like any other skill. So you should be able to network with people who are able to execute. If you are, great. I spent the first 10 years of my life executing everything because I loved it. I wanted to try the new WordPress template. I wanted to try the new theme. I wanted to try the software. I still try it. I still love it. I still like to do the Zapiers and stuff like that. But what I realized is that there's so many other people who can do this faster, better, and cheaper than me. But there's so many other people who cannot do what I do, which is go and find customers, talk to them, negotiate with them, balance out everything, train them, and stuff like that. So that's kind of like how I started. And it goes back to saying, like, just start as a freelancer, figure out how you're going to figure it out, and then you grow. Like, then you keep growing as much as you want to grow. I know people who are super duper happy, who are super duper successful. They're 65, 70 years old. They're doing graphic design. They get like one project a day, one project in a week, and they are thrilled. They love it. This is a dream. It's the gig economy. And I do hope, at least for myself as well, starting with till the end, I hope I have the internet. I have my skill. I can convert that skill into money. And if you're able to convert your skill into money on the internet, I think 2020 and the next hundreds of years are going to be really good for you.
So great. So great. So it's like I mentioned in the starting as well. So I'm talking to the best digital marketing panel in India. So any giveaway. So there are people attending who have lost the gift of hope, which we tell it. So do you have something to offer to the people who are listening here?
Yes, I think we'll three of us have something to offer. In fact, I want to offer my I have a blueprint. It's called the Digital Coach Blueprint, where I actually help people. Now, in the last 25 months, I've been able to convert over 10 crores in revenues implementing this blueprint, sitting at home without any office, without any employees. So if some of you here want a copy of this blueprint, and if you want me to explain to you exactly how this works, I would recommend all of you go to this link. It's sids.co/freedom. Okay, sids.co/freedom. And I will actually walk you through the step-by-step process on how you can take your knowledge and then make that into a super profitable business sitting at home without having to travel, without having to do anything. And I'll walk you through the entire process. Like, how do you decide your topic? How do you create the courses? How do you create the monetization strategy? Then how do you really market it? That entire end-to-end system. So if you want to launch a knowledge-based business, you can come to me for this. And I'm going to be doing a session very soon. So if you go to sids.co/freedom and register, you can meet me live in the next webinar. It's a 90-minute masterclass where I actually explain the entire model. I show my systems. I show exactly what it is done. And I think that will be a great start for many of you here who are really struggling with finding alternate ways to make things happen. So if you have the mindset of an entrepreneur, right? If you want to start an online business, then I would want to welcome you, into that. So that's my gift to you: the digital coach blueprint and a free masterclass access. Yeah.
So great, so great. Avi Arya said, do you have something, a gift of hope to them?
Yes, as we discussed, Chaitanya, I have a similar gift. We have a masterclass coming up where I teach people how to get known, because today's time, most important thing is people need to know that you are there with a particular skill set. So if people see you offering that skill set, they will come to you. So get known, obviously get leads, and then get sales. So this whole system is called with videos. People who like to make videos to get known, get leads, and get sales. You can go and I've made a special link for you guys, for your people, and you can I'll post it here as well. It's called microvideomastery.com. So if you go to www.microvideomastery, you'll find a link for your event. And for the next 24 hours, we've done something special just for you guys. So if you send it to your database or whatever you do, they will get a mail from Chaitanya, a gift of hope from Chaitanya and his friends.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving that. Gaurav sir, do you have any gift of hope?
I do, and I like the name Gift of Hope. And I truly feel that if you follow, can I share screens?
Yes, yes, done. I think I need to give you the access.
Yeah.
Done.
Cool. So what we've done is we've kind of created this checklist, which I think is really, really valuable for anyone who's looking at going online, whether you're looking at doing your own freelancing business, whether you're looking at growing your own online business. This is the A to Z. If you're getting started and you want to figure out the landscape of the gig economy, you want to figure out all the things that you need to learn, you can use this checklist and see exactly like where you want to specialize. And this is sheet one. And on sheet two, this is going to talk to you about everything in digital marketing that you can use, everything that you can use. So in a way, in these 2 pages, you'll get a very good overview of all the verticals of digital marketing. And you can just go to this website, gaurav.guru/checklist, and you will be able to download the 73-point W sales checklist. This is what I still use when I'm looking at pitching to customers, when I'm looking at learning stuff. So I do hope it's valuable to people who want to really take the next step in digital marketing.
Wow. Thank you so much for giving the gifts of hope. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us. I hope that maximum people have inspired something that they can take their home about digital marketing. And I hope that, people pursue their digital marketing career in their life. Thank you so much for being along. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Chaitanya.
Thank you, Chaitanya.
Thank you so much.